Hello, and welcome back to Let's Replay Mystery Case Files 13th Skull. I'm MCFPapa, and this is part 4, and we're gonna talk to Magnolia some more.
You're really smart. Daddy wasn't able to open the box like you did. My mom doesn't believe me when I tell her about the ghost, but I swear it's true. The cleaning lady, Mary, believes me, but she kind of creeps me out, so I don't really talk to her much. I don't know. She's always whispering scary stuff and talking about how we shouldn't have moved here. That's why I didn't show her the box. Or the secret Daddy found in the cellar.
What's in the cellar?
The box I showed you wasn't the only thing that Daddy found. There's something in the cellar, too. I'd show you, but I'm afraid of all the rats down there. If you get rid of them, I'll tell you where to find a clue in the cellar.
The ornate box discovered by Marcus Lawson was tricky to open, but no match for my skills. If Magnolia is correct in assuming the pirate's ghost was trying to keep the box's contents a secret, I'm not sure why. It only contained an old iron key and a news clipping detailing the manor's reconstruction after a fire over 200 years ago. Magnolia hinted at another possible clue in the wine cellar, but again refused to leave her room. I agreed to do what I can about the infestation. We're just such a nice person. Ooh, but now there's the second hidden object seen here. And now, I believe this thing, I think that's an adapter for a record player to play certain sized records, I think. I'm not entirely sure, because I've never actually played a record on a real, phonograph or whatever a day in my life. And it was interesting there that the wallet didn't have US currency in it. Though, look, get a load though of this old shower. Like, man. Not the kind of thing I'd want to be investigating, but we'll take the cheese from that plate of food since no one seems to want to use it. Another thing that really contributes to the atmosphere in this game is all the sound effects and such of the house creaking, of the rain falling outside. Just really well done. Oh yeah, a really old-timey scale. But now, no, with the coin purse, we can just get out a quarter. Looks like a 1992 quarter. But we can't get out more from it, because it'll just pop the other quarter back into our hands. So you can't, as much as I'm sure you wanted to, you can't just fill your whole inventory up with quarters. Oh, is that like a bust of like Beethoven or something there? Huh. Pretty interesting. And now Mrs. Lawson's in
Please
here.
stop dallying and help find my husband.
Still impatient with us. Oh, but that's an error. Because see, here the doors are open, but on this screen they didn't make the doors opened. Aw, man. Game totally ruined. And now something notable though about these little inner scenes to find stuff is, even though there's nothing left to find in them, like same with this box, there's nothing left, but you still can continually search them. I guess they did that just to make it a bit harder. But now, to get down into the cellar, we gotta install the light bulb. I guess we didn't even bother to make sure the light switch was shut off before plugging it in. I don't know. And I guess like the wiring was in series, so that's why like there's a light down here that's on now. So just place the trap and then place the cheese. And something that always bugged me is that the cheese doesn't necessarily match the trap you place it on. But now we need to just play a little waiting game. I wonder, like, if these old-timey photos are, like, people Ashlyn Ponser knew or something. Well, 1808, they wouldn't have even had photographs. So, who knows where they're from. Yeah. And now with the rats, we gotta humanely let them go, you know. Can't kill rats in a game like this, can you? I forget exactly when the game allows you to actually explore the sides of the mansion, but this is the first time you actually need to. And that weirded me out so much, because I'm like, oh, you can actually move around, huh. And then you can't go into town because of all the mosquitoes, but we can check out this little trunk to get another crown insignia. And the old boat. I think this is, at least historically, has been the hardest hidden object scene for me. Seems to be going good so far, though. Oh yeah, there's an actual animated turtle here going. Pretty interesting. Because this is the only time you visit this hidden object scene, you don't actually come back to the boat at any point. Now we can go into the swamp a bit. Danger, snakes and gators. Well, I'm sure we'll be fine. Oh. And now get a load of that animation for the water moccasin. Wow. And then we can go up to the carriage house, but it's interesting though that there's barely anything to do here because the door's locked. You can look in the window and hear some weird music, but it won't be for a while till we're able to go in it. And then if we go to the side, we can see a bird cage, bunch of weeds, and a dirty fountain water. So we just take the chlorine we got and pour it in and get some symbols. And apparently a fish that actually lives in this water. I never noticed that fish before. Huh. A fountain on the manor's west side would have presented an air of stately elegance in its day, but the years have not been kind. Ages of oppressive heat and moisture have left the fountain's facade cracked and overrun with blackberries and poison ivy. The insignia of a crown chiseled above the fountain's base made me wonder if this too wasn't another of the home's many secrets. A few splashes of chlorine confirmed my suspicions by cleansing the murky water and revealing a string of symbols hidden below. Yeah, and these symbols are randomized, which ones they are. So that's something good to keep things fresh every playthrough, just the amount of randomized stuff that goes on in the puzzles. There's a cemetery there, but we need 4 keys for the locks. But we can go down the path and... Oh, he looks friendly, doesn't he?
Get off of my land.
Oh. I guess not.
Stranger. Well, piggy.
But if you go in the mailbox, he's hoarding one of the crown insignias. Yeah, and you can't even investigate the pickup truck. But we can read the Dixie Trumpet with an area man who single-handedly thwarted a robbery attempt. Get it? And toilet seat throwing contest. But no mention of Marcus Lawson. Is that the guy, the actor who plays Victor in Return and Escape from Ravenhurst? It kinda looks like him, but I was never entirely sure whether it was or wasn't. But there's nothing else to do there, and in fact I should have probably done this fountain a lot later, because now I'll need to flip back through my journal a bunch when I actually need the code.
I'm glad you got rid of all those nasty rats in the cellar. They really grossed me out. Before Daddy disappeared, I saw him turning the bottles on top of the wine rack a certain way. I don't know what that does, but maybe you can find out.
Maybe I can. And I will, but first, of course, there's more stuff in your toys to rummage through. Oh, that was weird that the wrench's image was actually cropped and not just a full thing. Huh. And that piece of candy was in Franco the Excessive's hidden object scene. Alright, time to go back down for the wine. It's a pretty simple puzzle, just to... You gotta flip some of the bottles to make sure they're pointed the right way, and this is a pretty erotic looking scene for this sort of game. I think that's supposed to be like a mermaid or something. Now we can go in the secret room. 13. There. Missing something though. And if you inspect the barrel, there's a crown insignia. Even after relocating the rats, Magnolia remained too frightened to leave her room and accompany me to the cellar. She did, however, make note of seeing her father inspect the wine rack with certain interest, so I've headed down to have a look. Eureka! I've circumvented a device rigged to the wine rack at the rear of the cellar and gained access to a hidden chamber beyond. Footsteps in the carpet of dust suggest someone, perhaps Mr. Lawson, recently nosed about down here, no doubt searching for answers to the manor's many riddles. A haunting Gothic fixture begs for observation, but I should probably go ask Mrs. Lawson what she knows about my recent discovery. And that's nice, they even give you the what Roman numerals mean in case you're unaware.
You've been very busy. I can't believe you found a secret room in the cellar. I wasn't aware there was anything in there besides old wine and rats. This house gets stranger by the minute. Why don't you ask Louis if he's noticed anything odd around the estate? Louis is Mary's husband. Like I said, once we saw the state of the manor, we knew we'd need help fixing the place up. We hired Louis and Mary to do odd jobs around the property. Last time I saw him, he was doing yard work in the front. Why don't you go introduce yourself?
Maybe I will. Now here he is, just raking dirt, not even like any weaves to rake up or anything. Oh, and then they just loop his animation by like reversing it. It ain't even animation, but you get what I mean.
You must be that detective I've been hearing about. My name is Louis Lee. Looks like we're in for quite a storm this evening. What can I do you for?
Get a load of those lightning effects they have for him. And then he's just all looking around suspicious. I wonder why.
I got no idea where that fella got off to. People don't just disappear. On the other hand, them swamps is full of nasty critters just waiting to give you trouble. Snakes, gators, and the Lawsons ain't from around here. Maybe all that back and forth in the swamp with that map got him turned into somebody's dinner, if you know what I mean. Same as the one you're carrying. I honestly do believe he thought following that map around would lead him to riches. Listen, buried treasure, ghosts, UFOs got one thing in common. They ain't real. I don't put much stock in such nonsense, Detective. My wife Mary's a different story. You may have met her upstairs in the manor. Mrs. Lawson hired us to clean up the place, but all this rain's making it hard to get anything done. You wouldn't mind fetching me some proper work gear?
Well, I would mind, but of course, the game can't progress till I actually round up some dry stuff for him. My search for clues as to the whereabouts of Mr. Lawson has taken me back out into the rain, where I've made the acquaintance of Mary's husband, Lewis Lee. He recalled Marcus Lawson's many trips into the nearby swamps and attributes his disappearance to local wildlife, not the malevolent hand of a fictitious spirit. Lewis's unfriendly nature thwarts questioning, so I've agreed to round him up some dry clothes from inside the manor. I'll also need to make closer inspection of the carriage house. I remember Mrs. Lawson stating that Mary and Lewis are lodging next door during their stay of employment. Well, we will have to round up some dry clothes, but not until the next part, so like and subscribe if you want. I'll see you then.